never thought I'd be telling this story to anyone. Hell, I barely believe it myself sometimes. But what happened in my basement apartment in Portland last winter still keeps me up at night. I moved out 3 weeks later, never went back. So here's what happened. I'm Kendra, by the way. 21, studying journalism at Portland State. Money was tight, so I found this cheap basement place on Craigslist. The landlord, Mr. Chen, seemed nervous when he showed it to me. Said the previous tenant had died 6 months ago. Natural causes, he said. Old lady named Dolores Martinez. Whatever. Rent was $400. I took it. The first package showed up on a Tuesday night. I remember because I was cramming for my psychology midterm and drinking way too much coffee. Around 2:30 a.m., I heard footsteps on the concrete steps outside. Then a soft thud against my door. I figured it was Amazon or something. Weird timing, but drivers work crazy hours these days. The box had no company logo, just my address written in shaky handwriting. But get this, it was addressed to Dolores Martinez. Inside was an old photo of a woman in a floral dress standing next to a car. She looked maybe 70, with gray hair and kind eyes. There was also a silver bracelet that still had the smell of old perfume on it. I thought maybe it was a mistake. Maybe someone didn't know she'd passed away. I put the box in my closet and forgot about it. Then another package came. Same deal. Between 2 and 4 a.m., no delivery logo addressed to Dolores. This time it was a yellow sweater that smelled like lavender and mothballs. And another photo of the same woman, but younger, maybe in her 40s. This kept happening every few days, always personal stuff. Old jewelry, clothes, more photos. I started recognizing Dolores from all the pictures. She had this gentle smile that reminded me of my grandmother. My friend Jake said I should call the cops, but what would I tell them? Someone's delivering dead ladies' stuff to my apartment? That's not exactly a crime. After 2 weeks of this shit, I decided to figure out who was doing it. So, one night, I positioned myself by the door with the lights off, waited with my eye pressed to the peephole. At 3:17 a.m., I saw her. An elderly woman in a white nightgown walking slowly down my steps. She was carrying a small box, moving carefully like her joints hurt. She placed it gently by my door, then straightened up, and looked directly at the peephole. She smiled, the same gentle smile from all the photographs. It was Dolores Martinez, the woman who died 6 months ago. I stumbled backward, heart pounding. When I looked again, she was gone. The next morning, I opened the box with shaking hands. Inside was a handwritten note that made my skin crawl. I know you've been watching me through that peephole. I packed my stuff that afternoon and never looked back. Mr. Chen kept my deposit, but I didn't care. I later found out Dolores had a storage unit that got broken into around the time the packages started coming. Someone was staging this whole thing. But who? And why pick me? I still don't know. And honestly, I don't want to. I never thought tutoring online would scare the shit out of me like this. It was last fall, right after I moved into this tiny apartment in Seattle for grad school. I'm studying psychology at the University of Washington, and to pay bills, I signed up for this app called TutorLink. Easy gig, right? Help people with English from home. But one guy, he changed everything. His username was LearnerX87, and he booked sessions only after midnight, always. I remember the first time I was yawning through it, my coffee gone cold on the desk next to my stack of unread textbooks. Hey, I'm Arya, by the way. Not the most common name, but my mom picked it from some old book. Anyway, this started innocent. Learner X87 said he was from India, practicing conversation. No camera on his end. Said his internet sucked. Fine, whatever. We'd chat about basic stuff at first, weather, food, but he kept booking me, like 3 times a week, from midnight to 3 a.m. I needed the money, so I didn't complain. My schedule was messed up anyway. I'd nap in the afternoons after classes. Then things got weird. Slow at first. He'd ask about my day. What do you do after class, Arya? Okay, normal for practice. But it escalated. Do you live alone? What's your routine like? I'd laugh it off, say something vague. Yeah, solo in a small place. Wake up, school, tutor. He pushed more. Tell me about your apartment. Noisy neighbors? I mention my neighbor's dog barks sometimes, this yappy little terrier named Max that howls at sirens. One night during a session, I heard my fridge hum in the background. That old thing rattles every hour and he goes, "Is that your refrigerator?" Sounds familiar. I paused. How? My mic was on, but his side was quiet. Coincidence, I thought. Maybe all fridges sound the same. But then, Max barked outside and he says, "That dog again?" Must be annoying at night. My heart skipped, but I brushed it off. Flawed thinking, right? I was tired. Next session, traffic roared past my window. Seattle's late-night buses on Pine Street. He mentions, "Busy street tonight." Hear those engines? Okay, now I'm uneasy. I live on a specific block with that pattern. Bus, then quiet, then cars. How's he hearing my environment so clear? I tested it. During our chat, I dropped a book on the floor. Loud thud. He stops mid-sentence. "What was that sound, Arya?" "You okay?" Fuck. That was it. He heard everything. I ended early, said connection issues. Checked the app permissions on my phone. Holy crap. It had access to mic, camera, location, contacts, even files. I never noticed. Must have clicked yes without reading. Turned them off, but damage done. I emailed support, but they said it's for better user experience. Yeah, right. Build-up kept going. I'd hear creaks in my hall like floorboards under weight, but my cat Milo was asleep on the bed. Milo always knocks over his water bowl when he jumps down, but nothing that night. I forgot to water my plants earlier, so the leaves were wilting by the window. Stupid detail, but it bugged me while I paced. Last request came at 2 a.m. Message. "Great sessions, Arya. I'll see you tomorrow for our in-person lesson." Attached, my exact address, 1425 Pine Street, apartment 3B, Seattle. No way he got that from chats. I locked doors, called cops. They said no threat, just block him. But that night, knocks at my door. Soft, then gone. I peeked. Empty hall. I quit tutoring. Moved to a friend's couch in Tacoma for a bit. Still don't know who he was. App deleted, but sometimes my phone buzzes late. Wrong number? Or, nah, can't think about it. Leaves you wondering though, what if he's still listening? I still can't sleep properly after what happened in Portland last summer. People always ask me why I stopped house sitting, and honestly, I just tell them I got busy with other work. But the real reason? Someone was living underneath me for God knows how long, watching me sleep every single night through those damn security cameras. My name's Jasper, and I used to make decent money house-sitting for wealthy families. The Rodriguez family contacted me through one of those apps in June. They needed someone for 3 weeks while they visited relatives in Spain. Nice house in the hills, good pay, just keep their plants alive and collect mail. Easy money, right? The first thing I noticed was how many security cameras they had. Like, everywhere. Living room, kitchen, hallways, even pointing at the couch where I'd be sleeping. Mrs. Rodriguez showed me the system before leaving. She said they rarely check it from overseas because of time differences, but it records everything, just in case. First few nights went fine. I watched Netflix, ate their fancy snacks, played with their cat Whiskers. Whiskers was this fat orange tabby who always knocked stuff off counters. I remember cleaning up broken glass from a picture frame he pushed off Tuesday night. That's when I first noticed something weird with the cameras. Thursday morning, I could swear the living room camera was pointing more toward the couch than before. But houses settle, right? Maybe it just shifted slightly. But then it happened again Friday and Saturday. Always just a little different angle, always more focused on where I slept. I started paying closer attention. The cameras had these little adjustment knobs. and I began marking their positions with tiny pieces of tape. Just small marks so I could tell if they moved. They moved every single night. Sunday morning, I called Mrs. Rodriguez. She sounded confused, maybe a little annoyed at being woken up. She insisted they hadn't accessed the cameras once since leaving. Her husband got on the phone too. Same story. They suggested maybe the cleaning lady had been adjusting them, but she wasn't scheduled until they returned. That night, I stayed awake. Pretended to sleep on the couch, but kept my eyes barely open, watching the hallway. Around 2 a.m., I heard the softest click from somewhere near the kitchen. The basement door, which I thought was locked, opened slowly. A figure emerged wearing Mr. Rodriguez's clothes, jeans and a polo shirt I'd seen hanging in their closet. The person moved carefully, methodically, adjusting each camera with practiced precision. They knew exactly which angles to change. When they finished, they headed back toward the basement door. That's when I saw their face in the dim light from the street lamp outside. It wasn't Mr. Rodriguez. Some stranger had been living down there, probably for months before I even arrived, watching me sleep, learning my routines, wearing the homeowner's fucking clothes like some kind of sick game. I waited until the door closed, then crept to the kitchen to call police. The landline was dead. Cut clean through. My cell phone was charging right next to that basement door I now realized had never actually been locked. I grabbed my keys and ran. Didn't pack anything, just left. Called cops from my car, but when they checked the house, they found the basement completely empty, clean as a whistle, like no one had ever been there. The Rodriguez family cut their trip short and returned the next day. They found evidence someone had been living in their basement for at least 6 months. Empty food containers, makeshift bedding, and dozens of printed photos of previous house sitters sleeping on that same couch. I was just the latest person this creep had been watching.